Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Okay, it's Friday, and you know what that means. Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where, you know, we do that thing on Stolen Valor Day. Actually, it's not Stolen Valor Day, but, you know, that's what people are saying. Today, it's Friday Q&A Day. In fact, here we go. I'm going to write this down or type this in. Q&A, ask me anything. I will be dropping that in the chat here. You can click the link up there. AD will do the honors of making sure that I can read it all. It's Friday. Happy Friday. I hope you all have a good weekend plan. Mine's going to be mostly working, and I got to go to a family wedding, and we're going to help a friend of ours whose dad passed away clean up a house and stuff. So it's a melancholy weekend, a happy weekend and melancholy, because, you know, it's always sad when you lose relatives, and this is a good friend of ours, so we're going to help her out. But it's also the continuing of the presidential campaign. It's also just the continuing of life. We've got so much going on, and it's just I just happened to look on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, and watching the Krasenstein propaganda machine. I had to laugh at something here. I had to laugh at something that he put on here. That this time it's Brian, the uglier twin brother of Ed. So I probably will talk about that among many other things, but let's start with saying hi, because I am late, very late today because of circumstances. So first in the chat today is Mr. Kara Soldier, who gets the bell. Congratulations. Also, good morning, Avocados Diabli is in the house. Good morning also to Trippy Liberty. What's up, my brother? Good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg. Also, Lord Stanhope. Anon, 1, 2, 3, is in the house. Number one is here. Heidi to you too. And Heidi ho to Kara Soldier, who's the first. Also, good morning, Amazing Disgrace is in the house. And the Green Badger Outdoors is here. And that's everybody. That's all I can see so far. Well, we're getting there. Tyler F is here. People are showing up slowly but surely because they probably thought I wasn't actually doing my show today. Or maybe you're over watching Canon Hotep is also streaming right now. Or I don't know. Whatever. The people will show up when they show up. I need to get this started because I am so late. So let's get into some of the trending topics. There is first of all, let me just start out. It is Red Friday, of course, which is every Friday. Now, I always forget what Red Friday is for. Red Friday on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, is when you basically it's the day you remember and honor everyone who is currently deployed in the military. So here it is. There's someone named Gabby, whatever that is. Good morning, beautiful friends. It is Red Friday. Get your red on. Remember, and I'm wearing sort of a red color here. It's reddish. Remember, everyone deployed until they come home. We all stand together on Red Friday. God bless our troops. God bless America. And by the way, you know, when we say deployed, you know, we're sending some ships over to the Middle East, and we got people on standby. Apparently, there might even be some boots on some soil over there. Obviously, some of the bases are over there, but you know, it's kind of one of those things where you just gotta, you know, the tensions in the world are high with things going on in Ukraine, things going on in the Middle East, things going on in China, and you know, it's Red Friday. We want to remember everyone who's deployed. So honor those people. And thank you for doing your service to this great country. even if you're not from this country, if you're helping us out, whatever. Also, it is National Book Lovers Day. Now, that's interesting. I'm sure that there's going to be some snarky BS coming from a certain presidential campaign aimed at those of us who don't want smut being peddled to minors. But otherwise, it is a good day to check out some things in the library. Pick a book, start it, and finish it at some point. So I do love reading. Unfortunately, I don't spend time reading as many books, but I do read a ton of things online. But anyway, someone says here, without words, without writing, and without books, there would be no history. There could be no concept of humanity. That's Hermann Hesse, who died on this day in 1962. So it is National Book Lovers Day. Celebrate appropriately. Moving on. Also, I'm going to move that over because I don't want to talk about that yet. Hang on. Oh, what'd I do? There we go. Let's move that over there because I'm sticking with trending topics. Something that trending this morning, though, was Joe Rogan was trending. I'm going to read a book tonight. Good. There you go. Good job there, Kara Soldier. Joe Rogan is trending. Apparently, and I don't give two droppings of doo-doo who Joe Rogan votes for. He is his own man. He can do what he wants. Apparently, he has endorsed Robert Kennedy Jr. or said that, that he's voting for Robert Kennedy Jr. And I'm like, okay, that's his choice. I mean, look, Joe Rogan was a Bernie bro. Joe Rogan is not, while he has political people on all the time, he also is, he's strangely apolitical, even though he thinks that a lot of the crazy stuff that the Biden administration is doing is crazy. But, he's kind of not necessarily a Trump guy either. He respects Donald Trump, but that's not his job to say that he's going to vote for Donald Trump. So anyway, a lot of the people who are absolutely MAGA, tried and true, are kind of upset with him. Here's what Joe Rogan said, and this is what has them a little bit upset. Here we go. There we go.
That's just what they do. That's politics. They do it on the left. They do it on the right. They gaslight you. They manipulate you. They promote narratives. And the only one who's not doing that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
You a fan?
Yeah, I am a fan. Yeah, he's the only one that makes sense to me. He's the only one that he doesn't attack people.
True.
He attacks actions and ideas, but he's much more reasonable and intelligent. I mean, the guy was an environmental attorney and cleaned up the East River. I mean, he's a legitimate guy. Before anybody started calling him an anti-vaxxer, which I thought he was too. I thought he was this nut, this conspiracy theorist nut, until I read his book. I read The Real Anthony Fauci, and I'm like, what is it? How much of this is real? Because if it's all real, this is fucking insane, and we live in a world where we're being manipulated by these health organizations that are being paid by the pharmaceutical drug interests.
Let me stop for a second. So we've listened to this for what? We've listened to about just under a minute of this. Is he saying anything wrong right now? No, he's not. Now, one of the reasons I would not vote for Robert Kennedy Jr. is because Robert Kennedy Jr. is also very much a leftist. But Robert Kennedy makes sense on a lot of things. Okay, so I can't knock Joe Rogan for what he's saying here. Let's see what else he says. He's free to throw his vote in the ocean. Yes, he is. And if he wants to do that, that's his prerogative. Warning Jethro Hetero, by the way. So here we go.
And these pharmaceutical drug companies are pumping these products out into the population.
He doesn't endorse. Oh, I say he said he doesn't endorse anyone. He's just saying who he's voting for. Right. Okay. Good point.
And telling us that we need them, and then making insane amounts of money, and then also the government is in on it, and also they share a patent with Moderna, and also they share profits, and there's $700 million, $700 I mean, however
hasn't
much
said anything
money was
wrong
made,
yet.
whatever the number is that these guys made off of these products, like this is all of it is fucking crazy. There's the revolving door between the CDC and the FDA and then these pharmaceutical drug companies. So the people that make the regulations then go on to have these cushy jobs with the pharmaceutical drug corporations. Like, oh, nothing to see here. It's like it's open. It's right out in the open.
Right.
And when he talks about all that stuff in his book, you're just like, what the fuck, man? If this wasn't true, he would be sued.
Yeah. But
So it seems to be true.
yeah.
And it's a scary thing because people don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be attacked. You know, they don't want to be called an anti-vaxxer. That's a big one.
Okay, so nothing he said there is not true. So I mean, if he's going to vote for, but look, and a lot of men, and so Robert F. Kennedy dropped this post. He said, "From one legitimate guy to another, thank you, Joe Rogan, for always putting substance first. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He's the only one who makes sense. And blah blah blah. Just whatever, everything that Rogan just said. Now I don't even know if did he say he was going to vote for Kennedy. I don't know. But again, Razorfist makes the point. Rogan endorsed Bernie Sanders twice. He's a podcast host, people, not Professor X. True, because Johnny Maga here. Joe Rogan will go down as the guy who had a real opportunity to make meaningful impact and squandered it. Sad. Well, no, he's just formative opinion. Look, people who are going to vote for Kamala Harris are just giving an opinion. So anyway, people are very upset with Joe Rogan. Republican against Trump. New Joe Rogan announced he supports RFK Jr. over Trump. He's the only one that makes sense to me. Now let's see how the anti-Trump people say this. Oh, at this point, RFK pulls most of his votes from Trump. Well, they're excited because that might help Kamala Harris. But also RFK pulls votes from the left. He's actually a leftist. So who knows? Whatever. He's got his opinion. He's entitled to it. Who cares? It's not going to change my opinion of Joe Rogan or his show at all. I like his show. He actually talks to people, lets them talk, and it's interesting stuff. So who he votes for is, none of my damn business. I'm not going to vote for Robert Kennedy Jr. because Joe Rogan is voting for Robert Kennedy Jr. Someone says, can people stop? Oh, this is Nick Goroff, a Wizard of Cause, who I still follow, but he's kind of, he's an anomaly. But anyway, he says, can people please stop thinking Joe Rogan is some intellectual powerhouse? He's just famous. That's it. That's all he actually is. It's like thinking Musk is some genius inventor because he bought companies. Well, come on. Musk is a very deep thinker and smart, but you're right. He did buy companies, and Joe Rogan is not some intellectual powerhouse. He's just a guy who's popular, and whatever. Now, someone here, bearded vet. I guess Joe Rogan doesn't want peace in the Middle East or in the Ukraine and Russia, but by God, he preaches it on his show all the time and wars. No, I think Robert Kennedy is just as anti-war as the guy with the funny hair. I am not mad because Joe Rogan said what he said. So anyway, so a lot of people are upset about that, though, and I'm not. I don't care. Moving on. Willie Brown is trending. Now, this is not someone you want trending with your Kamala Harris. But, look, apparently Donald Trump was asked about Willie Brown yesterday in this press conference. Donald Trump did a press conference, 70 minutes, basically answering any questions, whatever, over an hour. And, I think he fumbled some stuff. I think he did set some things right. He got rambling like Trump always does. But one of the questions that was brought up is Willie Brown. And there's a bunch of takes on this. Now, Willie Brown, apparently there's a fact check by Willie Brown. I don't think this is a reply. But here we go. Trump was asked about Willie Brown. And so here is how Donald Trump, maybe this is the full question. I don't know if this is the whole clip. And I'm shocked that someone had decided to ask this question. Now, this is Right Side Broadcasting Network's clip, so I don't know. This, obviously there's some bias of who. You're gonna. There's lots of clips of this press conference, by the way, and you can tell just by who's putting it on the screen what they're going to choose and how they're going to choose. They're going to clip it to the best to their advantage. So here's one clip from the press conference. Trump being asked about Willie Brown.
Around Vice President Harris's relationship with Willie Brown, former mayor of San Francisco, and how that might have intersected with her career trajectory. So I'm just.
Oh, you mean she got horizontal to make her career go vertical? Sorry, I love that joke from Jericho Green. I have to give him credit. Okay, I'm sorry. I interrupted this.
I'm wondering if you followed that discussion at all and have any thoughts on that.
Well, I know Willie Brown very well. In fact, I went down in a helicopter with him. We thought maybe this is the end. We were in a helicopter going to a certain location together, and there was an emergency landing. This was not a pleasant landing, and Willie was he was a little concerned. So I know him pretty well. I mean, I haven't seen him in years. But he told me terrible things about her. But this is what you're telling me anyway, I guess. But he had a big part in what happened with Kamala. But he I don't know, maybe he's changed his tune, but he was not a fan of hers very much at that point.
Okay, so, and notice, he really didn't want to get in the weeds on this question because I don't think him personally talking about Willie Brown helps Donald Trump at all. Other than, sure, other people can bring it up, but Donald Trump should not spend time on this. Now, this is interesting. Someone here said, this is apparently this is a fact check on what Donald Trump just said. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what this fact check is. So this is someone who does not like Trump and pulled out a clip from Willie Brown.
I know Willie Brown very well. In fact, I went down in a helicopter with him. We thought maybe this is the end.
It appears that Donald Trump is talking about you today.
That's what I heard. I heard that
Okay.
He was doing what Donald does best.
Which is?
His creativity fictional.
So I could read you directly what he said, but in essence he says you were doing business together, you were in a helicopter, you almost crashed. Let's start with that.
I've never done business with Donald Trump.
That's not what Donald Trump said. He didn't say he was doing business with Donald Trump. But let's hear with the rest of this, because the question is wrong, is false. Did you hear him say anything about doing business with him, or they were just there together? Hello, Jimmy Das Hotep. How you doing? Also, I see Selected Boys in the house.
Yeah, boy.
Welcome. But anyway, let's continue.
Let's start with that. And secondly, I don't think I'd want to ride on the same helicopter with him.
So you were
Well,
on
what
a
does that
helicopter
mean?
with him that almost crashed?
Oh.
That's your answer, right? Okay.
He's dreaming.
Okay, maybe. Okay, I wonder if he remembers it. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't happen. Maybe he didn't know which Willie Brown he was talking about. I don't know. But someone here says, I mean, why would they ask him about Willie Brown? Someone says, bad move, unpresidential. Trump was asked by reporters specifically about Willie Brown. Oh, because okay, so apparently somebody was complaining that he got asked about Willie Brown. Here it is. Where is it? Donald Trump comments on Kamala Harris' relationship with former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, the man she slept with who helped kickstart her career. Okay, now Naomi Wolf says, bad move. Leave this to the surrogates. Unpresidential, adulterous male discussing a sexually active, single, much younger woman with another adulterous male. Bad look, RNC. Hello, Naomi, as someone here says, bad move, unpresidential. Trump was asked by a reporter specifically about Willie Brown, and Trump did a non-response. She never read that before. She said anything about it. So anyway, that's why Willie Brown is trending. I think he did the right thing in not talking about it too heavily. So moving on. Lawrence O'Donnell is trending because Lawrence O'Donnell does what he does. Very upset about Donald Trump's press conference, and apparently his monologue for his show was bitching about Donald Trump. So, and he's mad because they would even interview a presidential candidate. Let's see. We'll get a little bit of this, and then you can watch the rest yourself. Here's Lawrence O'Donnell asking about Donald John Trump.
And absolutely no comment from the reporters who were allowed to throw questions at him today about how could you possibly flip-flop like that. Well, it was 2016 all over again today.
Oh, he's so sad.
Donald Trump spoke at his home in Florida for over an hour, and all of the cable news networks, including this one, carried it live, just like they all did repeatedly in 2016.
Oh, so they shouldn't are you saying they shouldn't carry a press conference of someone who's aspiring to be the president of the United States? Let's see where he goes with this.
It would be hard to find a sentence in what Donald Trump said today that did not include at least one lie. Some of the networks tried to play catch-up with fact-checking after Donald Trump finished speaking, but that, of course, is way too late and utterly useless.
We should call him a liar constantly.
Attempted to fact-check every lie Donald Trump told. Every network has the capacity, especially with these wide screens we now have at home, to run a live scroll at the side of the screen, fact-checking.
Now, this is interesting. Are you proposing we do this anytime a candidate speaks, Lawrence? Because Vice President Harris has a tendency to tell big whoppers too. But of course, she does it on a teleprompter without being asked questions, because she won't do a press conference. Donald Trump goes out and does press conferences. He does interviews. He did an entire. He went on the stage with the National Association of Black Journalists, a very unfriendly venue. When will Kamala Harris start taking questions? You get the idea what this is, but if you want to watch the whole thing, I'm not going to. I don't give a shit. Lawrence O'Donnell can kiss my grits. Moving on. Other things trending. Cat turd is trending. And I don't know why cat turd's trending, but remember yesterday when he was talking about David Hogg? You know, David Hogg, who had the question, if you were stuck on the side of the road with a flat tire, who would you want to stop to help, Tim Walz or J.D. Vance? And to my answer to that is, I'd change my own damn tire, you fucking muppet. You fucking moron. You don't know how to change a tire? Yeah, that's pretty on character for you. But anyway, now this is, I don't even know why this right here is on here for a cat turd, but when you have a flat tire, you change it. You don't drive around on it for 4 more years to see if it gets better. Oh, snap. And then, but I'm not sure why cat turd's trending other than, oh wait, what's going on here? Why is my their screen froze? He tweets a lot, but there was something here. Trump didn't want to. Okay, Trump. Okay. I don't know why cat turd's trending. It's except they have several of his tweets here. There was something here. I think it's because of the David Hogg thing still, but cat turd just trends every morning. So, because he's getting a little fight with Stephen King too, where Stephen King said something to the effect that Donald Trump did not. Here it is. Stephen King says, Trump didn't want to be photographed with amputee veterans. He said, it doesn't look good for me. Well, there's a problem with that. Here's Donald Trump with a veteran who's in a wheelchair. Here's Donald Trump supporting an amputee veteran here. Here's Donald Trump with amputee veteran. Here's Donald Trump with the same amputee veteran. Oh, here's Donald Trump signing amputee's prosthetic arm. Here's Donald Trump Okay, we've already seen that one. So whatever. Shut up, Stephen King, you moron. Fuck you. Because that's one of those things. You know, they love to make up projection stories about Donald Trump, and yet then you can show Donald Trump doing the things they say he wouldn't do. Or you find out that something he said was part of a bigger sentence that meant something completely different. So, I don't know if that has to do with cat turtle. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? By the way, it's Q&A day. You see that little white box at the top of the chat? If you click that, you can drop your questions in the daily Q&A, or it's daily, daily my ass. Friday Q&A. I only do that shit once a week because it's exhausting, but I do it for you. All right, what else? Oh my gosh, Alyssa Milano's back. Alyssa Milano's is back. She is trending on X, app formerly known as Twitter. I don't know why. Oh, apparently because was she on The View or something? Okay, here it is. Alyssa Milano. Oh, is this new? Is this current? This can't be. This can't be current. Here's Alyssa Milano's very annoyed with Elon Musk for buying Twitter for $40 billion when he could have solved world hunger. What adult. Here's Alyssa Milano.
I'm so annoyed with all of these billionaires, with like the exception of a few, but especially Elon Musk.
Wait. Which few, Alyssa? Because you like the ones that you like politically, right? Because like, what's his name? What's the geek dude from Microsoft? Warren Buffett or Bill Gates? Or Warren Buffett? Why Elon Musk? Warren Buffett just liquidated $227 billion in stocks. Could he spend half of that on world hunger, Alyssa? Anyway, here's what she's going to say. I'm going to back it up just so you catch the whole thing.
A few, but especially Elon Musk. Like, you buy Twitter to destroy it for $40 billion.
Yeah. Twitter's still doing okay. X, the app formerly known as Twitter.
$40 billion. Elon Musk, imagine if he donated that money to UNICEF. I know. Yeah.
Oh, imagine.
Would change the world. There would be no hunger. He would.
That's not true. You'd just inflate UNICEF salaries, and that would pay to their payroll for a year. I don't know.
He could go in his pocket and donate that money.
No, he can't, because he would have to liquidate businesses to do it. He leveraged his buy of Twitter. He didn't really take any money out of his pocket. He just leveraged what he has to do it, okay? Y'all are so stupid. You don't understand that these guys just don't have $40 billion laying in a fucking vault like Scrooge McDuck. Oh, well, actually, Warren Buffett kind of does now, because he dropped $227 billion of stock, took it in treasury bonds, which, technically you can take, that's like cash, but whatever. They're so stupid. It's the same clip. So anyway, that's one reason. Is that the only reason she's trending, though? I'm just in the trending topic, so like I said, I don't even know what else it is. I think that's it. People making fun of Alyssa Milano. Oh, here's one. Imagine if Alyssa Milano stopped Botox and coloring her hair and fired her makeup artist. She could donate that money to UNICEF, and she could inspire so many women to do the same. She could stop world hunger herself. Oh my goodness. So this must have been a recent appearance on The View, which, it's election season, so we get to see Alyssa Milano again. Remember, this is Alyssa Milano, who had the crocheted mask during COVID. Now, she was probably wearing a mask under it, but still, it's funny as hell that she's that stupid. All right, that's enough for her. She's stupid. We already know it. UNICEF is trending because of that. We'll skip that, obviously, Alyssa Milano. And then there's a couple things here that Grok has put on the docket. Here is one of the topics: Biden's handling of the Afghanistan withdrawal. This is a summary of what people. Oh, because of Chris Murphy. The Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut posted some dumbass shit about the withdrawal. So here it is. Let's stop it because the withdrawal of U.S. forces from Afghanistan has sparked a debate on the roles of former President Trump and President Biden. Senator Chris Murphy argues that Trump initiated the withdrawal process and set the terms, leaving Biden with limited options. Critics, including David Osman and pragmatists, hold Biden responsible for the execution of the withdrawal, criticizing the loss of American lives and the chaotic natures of the exit. The discussion also touches on Trump's negotiation with the Taliban, the release of Taliban fighters, and the impact of those decisions on the withdrawal process. Now, good morning, Dom O'Leary. Good morning, Scrappy. Good morning, Faithless. What's up? Now, before I even read what Chris Murphy put on here, let's remember, the Taliban's anger or whatever, their change of heart, happened because Biden changed the plan. Yes, in fact, Faithless says it. Biden changed the terms and the action plan. Okay? Trump had negotiated to get us to get out of there cleanly. Probably we would have been able to take all our shit and go and, whatever. They had a plan. Biden changed the terms and fucked it up. So let's see how Chris Murphy, he's got a thread here of at least seven things. Okay, here we go. He says, lost amidst Trump's rambling incoherence about Afghanistan today is the fact that he negotiated the withdrawal of U.S. forces with the Taliban, not Biden. Right. He didn't have to do it with Biden. He thought he'd be reelected. But the United States negotiated this way to get out of Afghanistan, and Trump basically said, you fuck it up, we're going to fuck you up. Okay? So that was the terms. And they had a date set, and the military people were planning the withdrawal. Biden comes in and changes it all. So now you've turned your back on a deal that the United States of America made with the Taliban, not Donald Trump. The Taliban don't give a flying fuck who's the president is. They made a deal with the United States of America. And so whatever Biden's change of heart and military leaders, whatever, changed, the deal never changed. So we reneged on that deal. And then Biden didn't make a good plan for the withdrawal or his people he installed. So it doesn't matter. Donald Trump didn't have to make the deal with Biden. The United States of America made the deal with the Taliban. Now he says here are the facts about how Biden was handed a giant mess from Trump in Afghanistan. Trump made a deal with the Taliban to completely withdraw U.S. forces by May 1st, 2021. When Biden took office, he negotiated a short extension for a full withdrawal by August. Why? The plan was already being, put in place. But he could not alter the fundamental terms of the agreement. So Trump boxed Biden in. If Biden reneged on that agreement, which he did, Taliban attacks on American service members would have restarted, forcing us to send thousands more troops back into the conflict. Very few Americans would have supported this endless commitment. But you did change it. The reality is that the U.S. military intervention was never going to be successful in standing up an American-style democracy and an American-style military in Afghanistan. 20 years and more than $2 trillion trying to achieve it was enough. So that's why do you think Trump wanted to get out of there? Then, as our troop departure negotiated by Trump drew closer, Afghan government military collapsed without warning. It is not plausible to hold Biden responsible for that. That was a decision made by panicked Afghan leaders. That collapse would have happened whether Trump or Biden was president. Really? You don't think that the deal that was made? Because look, the reason their government and military collapsed is because Biden changed the deal. the Afghan military and government had no more faith in the United States either, because they changed the deal. Biden comes in and changes the deal. And they know what the Taliban leaders were thinking about that. They didn't like that. The collapse would have happened whether Trump or Biden was president. I disagree. Frankly, Biden performed admirably under the circumstances. I disagree. Organizing the largest post-war non-combatant evacuation in our nation's history. And poorly. Trump set in motion the withdrawal in a way that Biden could not reverse. He did reverse it. It's just not true that Trump would have managed the withdrawal better. You don't know that. He would have stuck to the date he agreed to. Undoubtedly would have handled it like he handled every other crisis, disastrously. Really? Nah, false. Now, someone here said, 1 year ago, the Donald released 5,000 Taliban fighters in exchange for a ceasefire to help his flailing presidential campaign, despite strenuous objection from both the Pentagon and the Afghan government. Okay, whatever. He was... and someone here, why was Trump given free campaign advertising time in multiple networks? He gave a press conference. If they wanted to hold, they had a choice of, broadcasting the press conference or not. They all chose to run it. Why? Well, they can't do one with Kamala Harris. She ain't doing no press conferences for an hour. Someone here from Military Arms called Military Arms says, LOL, you're really going to try and lay Biden's horribly botched withdrawal from Afghanistan at Trump's feet? Sorry, loser. He wasn't anywhere near the White House when Biden went against his generals and got those Americans killed and left hundreds behind. Well, we don't want to talk about that. Biden threw out the original plan and left $80 million in weapons and equipment to terrorists. He also got 13 U.S. service members killed, abandoned by thousands of Afghan allies, and left Americans behind. So there are people who are actually supporting what Chris Murphy said here. But yeah, Chris, I'm sorry. We made a deal. The United States of America made a deal, not Joe Biden, not Donald Trump, but the United States of America. And we changed the deal in the last minute. Or in the last, because Biden didn't want to do anything that Trump did. All right, so that's why that's trending. Another thing that was up, that Grok put up here, that Trump and Harris has finally agreed to a debate. Former President Donald Trump, former president, you got to stop Bidening here. Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris have agreed to a televised debate on September 10th, hosted by ABC News. This event marks a significant moment in the 2024 presidential election, as it is the first face-to-face debate between the Republican and the Democrat candidates. The debate will be moderated by ABC World News Tonight anchor Tim Muir and ABC News Live Prime anchor Lindsay Davis. Harris declined 2 other debate offers, including one with Fox News, leading to speculation and discussion about her strategy. She doesn't want to debate Trump more than once. She committed to one debate. She's rejecting all others. She says she's planning one interview before the end of the month. She has answered 0 adversarial questions, and you professional journalismers are okay with that? That's Ben Shapiro. It's funny. She only wants to debate Trump once, and funny because they've been calling Trump a coward and a chicken and all this shit because he wouldn't debate Harris. Now Harris won't agree to other debates. She wants a friendly venue. ABC News is probably a friendly venue. Good morning, someone saying no toes. New viewer, how you doing? Yeah, this is crazy, man. So now they can say she backed out of a debate. It's funny because that original debate was September 10th. That wasn't a debate with Kamala Harris. That's not what they agreed to. That was back when Joe Biden was still the nominee. Remember that? Does everyone remember that Joe Biden was the presumptive nominee? He was still running for president, and they said, Joe, you got to step down because you're going to lose. You're going to lose your job. Well, there you go. Now you got Kamala Harris, which is, fine. They should debate Donald Trump in the press conference yesterday. Said the networks, 3 different networks had set up debates. And apparently Kamala Harris hasn't agreed to the other 2. Well, who's the chicken now? Is she ever going to do an interview too? I tell you, okay, we talked about this yesterday. that first interview is probably going to be with some internet, YouTube star, whatever. I'm just saying. Now, Brooklyn Dad Defiant. This is Jagoff. He said, what does he say? Here's Brooklyn Dad Defiant, who says, I don't think Kamala Harris should agree to doing a debate on a Fox News because everyone already knows it will just be a fact-free Trump rally. Well, what do you call the debate on ABC or any other network? That's because she's afraid of adversarial questions. And maybe David Muir, who doesn't necessarily project his political bias like George Stephanopoulos or some other, or even Jake Tapper, his disdain for Trump. David Muir seems to be a little more apolitical, although I doubt it. I don't know the other person they mentioned there, but it is unfriendly turf for Trump to go into the major networks because they're all left Democrat, whatever. It's redundant, I know. And Fox News is, they're certainly on the right editorially, in a major way. From a news standpoint, they're fairly down the middle, a little to the right if you listen to their biases, but she doesn't want to talk to anybody that's going to ask her tough questions and challenge her. And hopefully, in a debate, okay, look, fine, make it a 3-hour debate then. If you're only going to do one, make it let's make it a real debate where you can go back and forth. But, they're going to make rules that they think will advantage Kamala Harris. It'll be interesting to see. Oh, no toes. Hotep's put me on to you. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that. Shout out to Hotep Nation, which I am a proud, contributor, friend, whatever. I went to Hotep Con. That was a blast. I love that. That was awesome. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. So here we go. And so anyway, this Brooklyn Dad Defiant, this shill. I don't think Kamala Harris should agree to do a debate on Fox News because everyone already knows it will just be a fact-free Trump rally. First, destroy his ass in debate on September 10th. Then see if he wants another mollywhopping in some other channel, maybe PBS. Yes, only go on friendly networks. But forget that bullshit Fox News. Well, yeah, because you know what? You want an advantage of friendly networks. Of course you do. Of course you do. Look, a debate's not going to, I don't know if a debate's going to tell me anything, but, here it is. Simon Ateba, one of my favorite correspondents, says, stop it. No, wait, what the hell? For now, Kamala Harris commits to just one debate with Donald Trump, not the 3 debates Trump mentioned earlier today. Do you know why? Well, of course I know why. She don't want that. She don't want to. Again, it's going to be interesting because Donald Trump, he exaggerates everything. Kamala Harris talks in word salad. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be a good debate. But she's going to get some of these in. She's going to get that head moving, and she's going to talk about she's the prosecutor and Donald Trump's a perpetrator. Whatever. It's predictable. Here's her take on whether or not she's going to do the other debates.
Madam Vice President, Donald Trump agreed to 3 debates. Will you be participating in all 3?
I've always been on record. I am looking forward to debating Donald Trump, and we have a date of September 10th. I hear he is finally committed to it. I'm looking forward to it.
So she's not committing to anything but September 10th.
Let's make sure we get this vote.
And don't answer any more questions. That's typical of of our friend Kamala Harris. So there you go. All right, moving on. And last one I want to put up here before we get to Q&A. I have a ton of articles open, but I'm just going to have to skip them. Apparently, Joe Biden has come out of the mothballs to, I don't know what this is about, Biden campaign rallies support. What the fuck does that mean? Joe Biden, the president of the United States, is the subject of discussion on social media with many users expressing gratitude and admiration for his leadership. Oh my goodness. With many users expressing, his leadership and service to the country. Motherfucker served himself. These highlights his personal qualities, achievements, and dedication to American democracy. Oh, goodness. Some users discuss his legacy and transition of focus to Vice President Kamala Harris. Okay, what is this? Victor Shi, he's one of these, he's one of those accounts. One of these accounts that gets their morning talking points directly from the White House. We are going to win this election for President Biden. What? They're going to put Biden back in the mothballs. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Look who stopped by the office today. The best president of my lifetime. Well, you must be 3 years old then. Thank you, President Biden, for everything you've done and continue to do. We love you so much. Yeah, not so much. So a lot of people thank President Biden. Why? I mean, he's not done yet. Is he? Unless he really did pass away. Is Biden still alive? I have no idea. What is that? What is that? Okay, something weird going on here. Let's see. Is that the alert box? No. Oh, I bet that's the. Okay, there's something weird on my screen on my monitor here. Okay, all right. Let's see. Well, I still have. Let me see how big Q&A is here. Let me see how much Q&A I have. Do I have time for at least one more story? Let's find out. It is Friday Q&A. Good morning. Oh, Scrappy already said that. Got COVID and grew 3 inches. Yeah, Biden is much taller. Apparently, COVID does make you more vertically gifted, I guess. I don't know how that works, but apparently that's happened for Joseph Rahim Biden. All right, let's see. Friday Q&A. Because I do want to just give you... Well, let me give you the headlines that I've got open. There's a couple that I'm going to elaborate on slightly, and then we'll move on. So, by the way, if you still want to get questions in for Friday Q&A, you have at least a couple minutes here before we move on to that. So, thank you, Avocado Stay Album, for dropping plenty of filler in there. So, here's the headlines of the articles I got that are going to be in the chat at the end of the show, and also in the description after we get done. So, first of all, Democratic Socialists of America, you know, kind of the squad types are taking credit for Harris picking Walz as a running mate because they made sure that they didn't choose that Jewish guy, Josh Shapiro, I guess. We saw this tweet before, though, so this article's a little bit behind. In the Daily Caller, James Carville says John Fetterman must be dealt with. Uh-oh. What does that mean? You know, Carville is one of these Clinton people. Are they asking for a little Arkansas or something? He says Fetterman must be dealt with after reportedly lobbying against Josh Shapiro. See, Carville really wanted Shapiro. And he is very upset with Josh Fetterman, the senator from Pennsylvania, who's like, no way, man. No way. We ain't having this. And he's a fellow Democrat, too. I don't get why why Fetterman did not want Shapiro. Fetterman's advisor discreetly conveyed concerns about Shapiro's prioritization of his own personal goals. 3 individuals familiar with the discussion told Politico. Carville, with his Politics War Room podcast, said he will deal with Fetterman after the election because of how he treated Shapiro, despite the governor allegedly helping the senator get elected. So he needs to be dealt with. You know how James Carville talks. In National Pulse, the Kamala camp has begun baselessly smearing veterans in an attempt to cover Tim Walz's stolen valor. Now, real quick, let me talk about this whole stolen valor thing. Is it a legitimate criticism of Tim Walz? Sure it is. If he says he did things he didn't do, in fact, he put some of them in writing, which may be an actual crime, but I don't know if it's the greatest thing for the Trump campaign to push. Let the surrogates push it. Let the people on X and other places push it. But I think Trump needs to avoid this. Why? Well, I have to give Tim Walz some credit. Okay, he served in the Army. He's in the National Guard for 24 years. Now, the end of his career, yeah, if he's embellishing on some of this shit, looks terrible. And let the media parse that out, because they kind of are. Even some of the left-wing media has parsed it out. But I think it's important that the Trump campaign kind of just stays away from it. Because, look, all they do is counter with, oh, Trump bone spurs, blah, 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 blah. But they can't do that with, obviously, J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance served in the Marines and did that. In vet circles, claiming combat without being in combat is mostly unforgivable. Absolutely. All I'm saying is that should not be a subject for Trump to broach. I think that's a subject for J.D. Vance. If J.D. Vance wants to discuss that, great. If Trump surrogates, military people want to discuss that, great. Trump needs to stay away from it, though. But anyway, now they're so the movie. But anyway, so this article is talking about how now the Kamala's camp is starting to smear veterans who dare speak badly of the vice presidential candidate for the Democrats. So the smear campaign derailed. Okay, wait a minute. The same. Okay. Oh, now they're saying that they unearthed J.D. Vance supported a congressional candidate who egregiously lied about his military service and claimed he was deployed in Afghanistan when he never was. The Harris campaign declared on social media, accusing the candidate J.R. Majeski of stolen valor. Well, J.R. Majeski's not running for vice president. He's not your pick. And part of it, let's see, the same smear campaign derailed Majeski's previously competitive congressional race in Ohio. The U.S. Air Force admitted it improperly released military records belonging to Majeski to the Democrat-aligned due diligence group before the election, a transgression compounded by its failure to produce correct records when requested to do so. Only once the race was over did it update Majeski's record, adding the Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal to it in recognition of the fact that he served in a combat support area for troops in Afghanistan. While the area was outside of the country, it was still officially designated as a combat zone. So they're smearing him for supporting another candidate sometime in the past when who is not the candidate for vice president of the United States. Anyway, you can read the article. American Greatness, so they seem to think that the Walsh pick are Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, and Pennsylvania now off the table for Democrats. I don't know. The likelihood of this growing... let's see. What happens when Donald Trump wins the presidential election in November? The likelihood of this is growing daily, even with Democrats being overrepresented in the most recent public polling, with the obvious media campaign prop-up of Kamala Harris as something other than the intellectual lightweight, progressive left-wing radical that she is. Americans are finding more reasons than before Joe Biden exited the campaign last month to support Donald Trump as they watch their country and the quality of life being decimated by the most hostile, incompetent presidential administration in the history of the United States. Yeah! I'd love to believe that, whoever wrote this. But I'm telling you, the media blitz of positivity for Kamala could very well overcome that. Now, hopefully, as I say often, it is important that we burden Kamala Harris with what has been so we do not find out what can be. Because I don't want to find out what can be under a Harris administration. Again, stick to policy, 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 and more policy, and history of Kamala Harris's career and the Biden administration. If we stick to that, there's no way that Trump can lose. And I'm not a MAGA guy, but I'm maybe putting on one of those hats pretty soon. I don't know. I am definitely not. I support Donald Trump in this election, like I did in the last election. Opposite of what I did in the election before, when I voted for a giant rock in the sky. Okay. Anyway, you can read that article in Breitbart, exclusive, same as Reuters. 7 troubling Tim Walz connections to communist China. Yeah, he's we went through some of these the other day. He spent his honeymoon in China and thinks China's the greatest thing, and they got married on the anniversary of Tiananmen Square. I mean, it's kind of weird. Remember that? They think he has the nerve to call anybody weird. That's in the Breitbart article. Another Breitbart article at Trump. The press conference, he called out first loser Kamala Harris for winning no votes en route to the nomination. So that was part of the press conference. Problem with Trump in press conferences, even when he's in rallies, is he gets off. He goes on tangents a lot. So he did. Don't call her the first loser. She was the first loser. So here's. They don't have the clip. Here's what he said about. This is from Truth Social. A reporter asked Trump to clarify what he meant when he said on Truth Social that Harris's assent to replace Joe Biden on the ticket was against the Constitution. Well, it's not against the Constitution. Democrats can choose their candidates however they want. But anyway, Trump says, we have a Constitution. It's a very important document, and we live by it. And she has no votes. Now, I'm very happy to run against her. I'm not complaining from that standpoint, and I hate to be defending Biden, but he did not want to leave. He wanted to see if he could win. They said, you're not going to win after the debate, and they said, you're not going to win. You can win. You're out. And at first they said it nicely, and he wasn't leaving, and then, it was it better than anybody, right? So when you think about it, they said at first they were going to back you, going back to another vote. They were going to go through the primary system, a quick primary system, which it would have to be, and then it all disappeared. And then they just picked a person who was that was the first out. She was the first loser. Okay, so we call her the first loser. She was the first loser when during the primary system, during the Democrat primary system, she was the first one to quit, and she quit, and she had no votes, no support, and she was a bad debater, by the way, a very bad debater, and that's not the thing I'm looking forward to, but she was a bad debater. She obviously did a bad job. She never made it to Iowa. Then for some reason, and I know she regrets it, or he regrets it, you do too, he picked her, and she turned on him too. She was working with the people that wanted him out, but the fact that you can see the fact that you can get no votes, lose in the primary system. In other words, you had 14 or 15 people and she was the first one out, and that you can be picked to run for president. It seems to me actually unconstitutional. Perhaps it's not. So there you go. That was the answer. What up, Richard Head? Dick's in the house. Nice to see you. That was his answer. Let's see. And then they mentioned that Harris has not held a press conference or interview in 18 days since becoming the presidential candidate. So Trump described Harris as worse than Biden, though not as smart. Oh, he's funny sometimes, I tell you. But yeah, okay. So he did. I guess he said and that. She was for that unconstitutional, or perhaps it's not. It's not unconstitutional, but it's certainly weird that that's how they did that. All right, moving on. Daily Wire, again, more about the press conference. He said he agreed to 3 debates on 3 different networks and calls Harris barely competent. We already talked about that a little bit. Also, the Daily Wire, Harris only accepts 1 debate. So that's shot. Trump agrees to 3 debates. Harris, the chaser, Harris accepts only 1 debate, refuses to commit to more. Because she's, I hope he throws some Tulsi Gabbard lines at him. I hope he does if they do actually have 1 debate. I'm still up in the air whether that'll actually happen or not. Now, apparently Sherrod Brown, senator from Ohio, or is he a former? Oh, he's embattled. Democrat Sherrod Brown bails in the Democratic convention. But Brown said he often skips convention, but he's only missed 1 DNC since 1984. Senator Gerard Brown of Ohio will not make it to this year's Democratic National Convention, a decision, he says, should not be interpreted as anything out of the ordinary. I often skip conventions. Well, once since 1984 is not often, but you know. So anyway, it's a long story about that. You can check that out in the Daily Caller. Absolutely not. Retired Border Patrol chief says Kamala Harris never once spoke to him about the border crisis. What? The border czar never talked about never talked to the Border Patrol chief? Now, I know, is it fair to call her the border czar? I mean, that's not technically really a title, whatever. And, you know, Biden did have that little, press thing where he said, oh, yeah, we're going to put her in charge of the border and border issues and blah, 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 blah. But how do you do that and never talk to the Border Patrol chief? And apparently, did she say he did? Border Patrol chief confirmed on Monday that Vice President Kamala Harris never spoke to him, even after she was tasked to lead a major facet of the immigration crisis. So, a lot more in that story. PJ Media, chum in the water. Hunter Biden has an associate who's going to testify that he bribed the first son for something. I don't know. The bigger problem in this is that apparently Hunter Biden, the crackhead son of the addled one, he apparently had been doing business for Romania too and never got one of those, what do they call it? You have the foreign agent of something, other country, whatever, foreign representative, whatever it is they call it. He never did that. And apparently there's someone in this Romanian circle that's going to testify that he bribed Hunter Biden for access. By the way, also, Biden was paid like $3 million from Romania, or this oligarch, whatever, and never did anything to earn it. Who knows why? But this is part of the tax evasion trial that's set up for next month in California. So that's interesting. More trouble for Hunter Biden. And then here, let's see, Trump assassination attempt. This is in legal insurrection. Local police told Secret Service days before the rally to secure the roof. Now, if you've seen this footage, look for the footage. They have new body cam footage from one of the officers, and one of the most clear things you hear out of this is this line right here.
I f***ing told them they need to post the guys f***ing over here. I told them that the Secret Service. I told them that f***ing Tuesday. I told them to post f***ing guys over here.
So that is from the body cam footage of that from the local police, and this was not like a press conference. This was actually during this incident when they found the guy on the roof, and they were telling the Secret Service, we told them to secure this roof. Why didn't they have anyone on this roof? That's their job, and it's not getting any better for the Secret Service. It's a long article. You can read that on your own. I have several other articles here, but it's Q&A time. So again, as I do each day, I will drop links in a single link called a one-tab link in the chat at the end of the show here, and also it'll be in the description of this stream/video for your reading pleasure. There's all kinds of great stuff, and I just don't have time to get to it all. Let's get to Friday. Oh, wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Whoops, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for Friday Q&A. Ask me anything. Get your questions in while you can. Let's start with the Friday Q&A, because that's what we do on the Morning Night Live every Friday. So let's start with the first question. Today is from Mr. Avocados Diabli. Who says, let's see. Oh, what? Who says working on some other stuff, so I won't be loading this with questions today. Oh, come on, man. Well, I love you anyway, brother. I appreciate you, and I see a question down here lower. All right, let's start here. Bonehead Dumbass. I didn't know. Well, welcome, Boneheaded Dumbass. I appreciate you. Boneheaded Dumbass says, being born in 1964, do you relate with baby boomers or Gen X more? I, too, was born in 64, and I identify with Gen X more. Well, here's how I think of it, okay? So I am like, I consider myself the last boomer, so to speak. And clearly I tend to identify with Gen X more because I see all these Gen X videos on Instagram and not TikTok, but whatever, YouTube Shorts and whatever. And I absolutely identify with Gen X. Here's what I think of myself as. I am like Gen X's. I'm that Gen X person's older brother who says, yeah, that's a great idea. Go ahead and take that Schwinn Stingray and jump over that ramp over those 7 garbage cans. You can do it. Come on. I know you can do it. In fact, I dare you to do it. And then when little brother or little sister tried the jumping over the 7 trash cans with the Schwinn Stingray and they crash and burn, I'm the one over there laughing my ass off and saying, okay, you'll be okay. Just rub some dirt on it. So there you go. I do relate to them because I'm the one who egged those fuckers on. Moving on. Next question. Lord Stanhope says, how's your day going? It is fabulous. Lord Stanhope, are hot dogs really sausages? Absolutely. I mean, they're a type of sausage. Now it's there's some questionable meats in there and body and parts and shit, but still they are definitely a sausage because they are. In fact, for example, have you ever had Ambassador hot dogs? Now, I don't know if that's a brand everywhere, but here we have this brand you can pick up at Sam's Club. Go all the bastards. Ambassador. They're natural cased wieners, but wieners are sausages. So there you go. Yes, the answer is yes. Lord Stanhope, would you take advice from Joe Rogan? On some things, sure. Not all things, not political advice, but I would be interested. I would love to talk to Joe Rogan because I think he's an interesting guy. And I think he has some interesting insights and has good questions. But I don't rely on Joe Rogan for my political opinions. I don't rely on any of them fuckers to do interviews for that. Some of them I agree with, some I don't. Lord Stanhope asks, what a worse hammer to get hammered with, claw or ball peen? It depends on which side of the hammer you're using. Because, you get hammered with the end of a claw hammer, that's not good. Kara Soldier, Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune? Ooh, that's a good question. I think Jeopardy is, with Jeopardy with Alex Trebek may have been the greatest game show ever, but Wheel of Fortune I probably would be better at. Although I'd be decent at Jeopardy too if they had the right subjects up there. I would be pretty good. I watch Jeopardy fairly regularly though, especially when Alex Trebek was the host. Lord Stanhope, in your humble opinion, what is the best cheap beer? By cheap, I mean $2 or less for a 16-ounce can. I don't even know if those exist, but I would happily have a PBR or a grain belt. Now, if you don't know what grain belt is, grain belt's very regional to Minnesota and the surrounding area, and it's actually a very good cheap beer. Lord Stanhope, you are allowed to only use one condiment for the rest of your life. What would you use? Ooh. It'd probably be some kind of mustard. And not just like yellow Heinz, but like, a little bit of a spicy mustard, maybe. Or hot sauce. I put hot sauce in everything too. Black people do that shit. Let's see. Lord Stanhope, could you recreate the meeting of General Robert E. Lee and Ulysses S. Grant during the surrender of Appomattox, that courthouse, by blinking? Okay, let me try that again. Could you recreate the meeting of Generals Robert E. Lee and Ulysses S. Grant during the surrender of Appomattox courthouse by blinking? Okay, there you go. That's it. I don't know if that worked or not. Lord Stanhope, if brain-eating zombies were unleashed at the DNC, would the zombies eventually starve to death again? They'd have very little material to work with. Kara Soldier, did you ever watch American Gladiators? I used to love American Gladiators, and I know it was hokey and whatever, but you had to have some. If you were going to go on that show, I wanted to go on American Gladiators. I just thought it was something that looked so fun. And it's funny because, the contestants on American Gladiators were usually much smaller than the gladiators. Like the gladiators, were all bulked up and, pretty big dudes. And then the gladiators, they'd have like this 150-pound guy come on there and just had no chance. Well, when that show came out, I was I'm still 6'4"-ish. I'm shrinking, but I was 6'4" and about 240 pounds. A pretty solid muscle. I was pretty good shape back when that show first came on, and I thought, oh my gosh, this would be so fun to go on. And I was athletic too, because I was a college cheerleader and I did all this stuff. I was lifting people. I'm throwing people up in the air higher than my head, and I had a lot of power. And I would have loved to have gone to that show. Plus, I spent a summer, 10 weeks in like a Marine Corps officer. It's called a platoon leaders course. I was never a Marine. I'm never going to say I was a Marine or whatever, but I was in a platoon leaders course where I did 10 weeks of Marine training. So that would have been a show I would have just loved. I'd have loved to be on it. So yeah, that was a cool show. Even though it was kind of hokey with the costumes and all that, it was kind of a cool show. Lord Stanhope, if I showed up at your house at 3 a.m. holding either a crown rib roast or a prime rib roast stuffed with fried shrimp and chicken fingers with herb roasted potatoes and bacon asparagus, would you let me in? Fuck yeah. I'd wake up to eat that. Holy shit. Avocados Dabbly, my first question, if a self-repeating Franken-Ants replaced your bladder with the magical sack that could produce any beverage, would you open a bar and charge people to have you piss in a glass for them? A survey says yes. Oh my God, that was a brilliant question. Lord Stanhope, by the way, what's for dinner? Oh, good question. I don't know. We might go have ramen tonight. It's kind of I think because Lady Boomer's working late. Select a Boy says, why does Lucy tend to annoy Schroeder? Because she's so extra when it comes to Schroeder. He just wants to play his damn piano. And she's like, blattering the eyes and shit. Plus Schroeder's gay. Lord Stanhope, for a media positivity blitz for Kamala to work, wouldn't people have to watch the MSM? Yeah, that's a good point, but a lot of people still do. But it's not just the MSM. It's also online. It's everywhere you go. It's in any kind of online forums. Every picture is her smiling. You could certainly pick out pictures of her scowling, like when she was yelling at the protesters at her, at the rally, the Palestinian protesters, and she gave them one of these and got all nasty. But they're not going to show that picture. They're gonna again. Hagiography. Look up that word. That's what they're doing with Kamala Harris. Let's see. Select a Boy. When will the Republicans learn when your enemies make a mistake, let them? Exactly. That's my answer. Lord Stand-Up, will you have a good weekend? It's a busy weekend. Like I said, I'm going to a wedding tomorrow of one of my wife's cousins. Her daughter's getting married. And then unfortunately, we're going to help a friend whose dad passed away clean out a house. So it'll be a busy weekend. Hopefully I'll sell some furniture this weekend too. Lord Stand-Up, would you rather see Bad Company opening for Foreigner or Boston opening for REO Speedwagon? Honestly, it would have to be Boston opening for REO. A lot more songs. Although Foreigner was great. Bad Company, interesting band. But I love Boston. I used to really like Boston. When I was in college, on my freshman year, a guy down at the end of the hall of the dorm, he and I basically would unwind to Boston before everyone would go drink beer. Love that band. And REO Speedwagon is pretty good too. They had a lot of hits, so whatever. Either one. Lars Stanhope, just to change things up, next Friday, can we have TNA time? TNA? What? I don't know what. What? I'm not sure what that means, and I'm afraid of what it means. I forgot to. Oh, the giant kickball cannon was awesome. I loved that show, American Gladiators. I really did. American Gladiators gave teenage boys a fetish for being manhandled by large women. I had to whoop those women's ass. They would have not stood a chance against me. Most of the gladiators would have a tough time with me back then because I was very athletic and I was bigger than most of them. That's the only thing. They always had the little. I mean, not short. They had athletic guys in there, but they were always small guys. I was as big as any of the gladiators, not muscle bound wise, not like bodybuilding wise, but just general size. I'm 6'4". I was 240 pounds athletic build. Okay, now I'm 6'4", 290 pounds, not so athletic build, but whatever. I'm still formidable. And I have dad strength now. I didn't have dad strength then. Okay, real quick. Let's finish this up. 3 more questions. JB asks, if you could attack people with creatures, what creatures would you use? Giant spiders. Okay, giant spiders. Or maybe alligators. I don't know. Avocados Diabli, using only hand gestures, depict the ending of the story of the Diary of Anne Frank. I don't know the end of the story. I wish I'd hear. I'll just... There we go. I don't know the end of the story. I always forget. She survived, right? For a while. JB, would you rather eat a bowl of honeybees or be cursed to eat Cheerios for an eternity? Well, I'm not. Are the honeybees already dead? Because I would not want to eat anything for the rest of eternity, like one thing. So if they're dead. There you go. I finished the story. Would you rather? If the honeybees are dead, I would eat the honeybees. Selected boy, what is your favorite type of rum? Captain Morgan or Ray and Nephew rum? I'm not familiar with Ray and Nephew. So of those two, I would say Captain Morgan's. And finally, the last question of the Friday Q&A goes to Rod Line, who says, are you watching Olympic breakdancing today? Is that a real thing? Olympic breakdancing? Holy shit, if that's a real thing, I might. I'm telling you, I know they were talking about possibly. I know they're talking about possibly having that as an Olympic event. Is there really Olympic breakdancing? Holy shit! Oh, it's over. Ray and Nephew is an overproof rum. Holy shit! If I have the time to watch Olympic breakdancing, hell yeah. That might be the best event in the Olympics. Way better than the floor exercise. You know what I mean? All right. Do I actually read this or not? This is a good... Well, because Avocados Diabli is so instrumental in making this show run, I will read this last question. Again, a new... last question on Friday Q&A. Avocados Diabli asks, was that the last question really? No, it wasn't. Yours is now. That's it. No more questions. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. In fact, thank you for joining me this week on the Morning Night Live. I'm here Monday through Friday. And about the same time, so come join me. I do videos every once in a while and short videos and whatever, but it's few and far between. I'm trying to get better at it. But do me a favor. Hit the like button, share the stream. And thanks for our sponsors during the week. I appreciate it. You keep the show going. That's it, though. I'll drop all the links to all the stuff I talked about and even a lot of stuff I didn't talk about into the chat as we do the outro, and it will be in the description in this of this video /stream. I gotta go. Thanks. Have a great weekend. My name is P Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P P-Dog Night. And thanks for watching today on the P-Dog Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Night, and I'm out of here.